Thank you so much, ma'am, for your wonderful presentation. It was very insightful, and you discussed everything in a very detail. I think, and I was noting down all your recommendations. Those were the practical steps, I think. And you discussed specifically about Gavadir and hybrid warfares, youth engagement projects or programs, capacity building workshops, especially for the fishermen and all other challenges which we are facing. And also, I think by we are not only projecting the CPEC, but also it is good for the cause of Pakistan. And I think it is not only for the interest of China, it is for the interest of Pakistan as well. And we have to focus, and because I feel that we have neglected CPEC. And as far as young people are concerned, we have not, given much emphasis to China-Pakistan economic corridor, how we can be benefited, and especially the today's topic, which is cultural and people-to-people contact. So how these contacts will be developed if we will not be involved in such activities? So I think you also discussed about the competitions. So it was really interesting that competitions among different stakeholders, especially among young people, social media influencers, and we can engage them by showcasing the positive image of Pakistan. So all were the practical recommendations, and your presentation was really amazing. So I would like to thank you again for your wonderful presentation, and we will take question answer sessions at the end. So now I'll be moving towards the panel discussion, and for that, I'll be giving the floor to Syed Shamsul Hassan. So if Syed Shamsul Hassan is with us, you can continue further. Thank you.
Thank you, Musawwir Tanoli. Hope I'm audible to all of you.
Yes.
I would start by thanking our guest speaker, Ms. Rima Shaukat, for such a thorough, interesting, and genuine insights that we had in her presentation. And let me tell you, allow me to say that this forum, Youth Diplomacy Forum, is also serving as a part of what you mentioned, the CPEC ambassadors. So we are also trying to do this in informational and interesting dialogue and bring in people, those who are experts in different areas. In last previous weeks, we had sessions on CPEC energy projects. We had a session on special economic zones and dedicated sessions on such topics. So we're trying to, because it's a war of narratives, and those will be having strong narratives. They can be victorious. So that's the one of the purpose we are doing all this exercise. And in all this exercise, youth is pivotal. Youth is very important. So the change, because they're the change drivers. And when we're talking about people to people contact, so youth has a very important role to play. And when I say that people to people, it's never a one-way process. It's a two-way process. It's anchored and convened by government. At the same time, people are at the core, and it is people-driven process. So, when I say people to people, it's not one way. It's two-way. When I say two-way, it's not. It won't be, everything won't be done from the China. We're talking about a CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. So China won't be doing everything for us. For example, like you mentioned in your speech, that there are 30,000 students, Pakistani students, who are studying in Chinese universities, and they need to learn Mandarin, they need to learn Chinese language. But at the same time, we should be asking ourselves that what we are offering to them. Why Chinese students are not coming to Pakistan? Why they're not studying in Pakistani universities? So we have to uplift, we have to elevate our status of universities to the point, to the extent that Chinese students should be coming here, and then we can say that's real people to people thing. Secondly, the Chinese companies, state-driven companies, they are working in Pakistan and they are doing exceptional job. I mean, they've created employability chances, and they are doing many things in perspective of CSR, corporate social responsibility. But again, when I say this, what are we offering to them? Like, why would they choose Pakistan for their operations and technology transfer thing? And why not Southeast Asian countries? Like, they're having this very strong people-to-people contact in Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, and Southeast Asian countries. So again, we have to look at it that when we say it's two-way people-to-people contact, then we have to also play our role. The third thing could be to elevate our tourism sector, because it's not about sightseeing. I mean, you mentioned about Gwadar, and I can tell you about northern areas. So it's not basically a sightseeing thing. It should be connected. We should have an ecosystem where there should be roads, infrastructure, hospitality, hotels over there, and there should be mechanism. I would request to switch off your microphone. And there should be an ecosystem of tourism so that we can invite Chinese people. And once they come, then we will be having a more strong people-to-people contact with them. Same is the case with promoting our cultural heritage. We are talking about CPEC being a flagship project of Belt and Road Initiative. And but when we talk about reviving the spirit of ancient Silk Road, so what was it? Ancient Silk Road, we had a very strong trade, cultural, and religious contact with originating from the Indus Valley civilization and going down to the Yellow River civilization, which is called China now. So my point is that there's so many venues, but we have to make it a two-way people-to-people contact. Only then it will flourish. With these points, I would request to bring into the conversation Mr. Usman Zulfikar Ali. If you're listening, please, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you so much. Sir, if you allow, before Usman is a very dear colleague of mine and we have worked together, I would just like to elaborate few things which we have mentioned. Musawar, if there is time and if I'm not spoiling the rules of this forum.
Yeah, ma'am, sure.
All right. Sir, once you have talked about, thank you very much for these very good viable suggestions. And I think that when we talk about the general perception of the CPEC, actually people of Pakistan think CPEC is the name of a road. Whenever we talk about CPEC, the only thing which comes to any, local populace or the common man, it is about a road. They think it's the name of a road, which is the CPEC, which is connecting Pakistan to China. They are not at all aware of the projects and the massive investment which China has made to Pakistan. So what I feel is, and which what I have highlighted and mentioned on every forum, is that unfortunately we are not a good storytellers. We don't know how to project our story. We do not know how to project our case to the case of Pakistan to the rest of the world. You have talked about the tourism opportunities. Certainly there, and the civilizations there, China is very much interested into the Gandhara civilization. It also we have the religious sites in KP and in some parts of Texla or the Punjab side, in which they are very much interested. And we have seen that how monks from the Southeast Asian countries have also visited this year in the to pay homage to their religious sites. But apart from, if China is doing a lot of investment in the infrastructure projects, it is being a Pakistani, it is our responsibility to develop the facilities so that we can travel with our families to those coastal areas or the northern areas. Like, it is not the responsibility of China to keep the cleanliness, but it is our responsibility to make it a friendly environment for not only for the investors or the foreigners to come forward, not only invest in Pakistan, but also visit Pakistan. So these were the few points. Like, it is our responsibility to make our people friendly country, people friendly environment.
Exactly, I totally resonate with you. That was exactly also my point that we have to also give our due share, and because it would be then two-way process. So it's never a one way. China is doing a lot; it has already done a lot, but we also have to uplift, and for that we have to do our part. As you mentioned, the people's diplomacy. So that's the win-win solution. With these remarks, I would request Usman Zulfikar Ali if he can also contribute, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sayed Shams and Musawir again. This has been, I think, third week we are gathering here again and again to speak about CPEC and the connectivity and different projects of it. And today it's the most interesting, the people-to-people connection and the impacts on the local communities. It's been elaborated wonderfully by ma'am. And it's not the first time I'm listening such a wonderful lecture from dear colleague and dear senior. When it comes to the people-to-people connection, I think that it is a trickle down kind of thing, that whenever two states think to bring people in between, the diplomacy in between, the connection, they think that to release their burden to the people, to release their burden to the individual. That's been the trickle down effect from state to the groups and then to the individual. So it's not the first time China has been doing with other countries. It's the quite resembled with the ping pong diplomacy in the 1971, when the two teams of United States and the China, when they played with each other, the ping pong, the table tennis for the which improved their relations. So now the situation has quite turned around. Otherwise, situation has turned otherwise though, but the idea is still the same. With Pakistan, China is doing quite the same thing. Pakistan is also very much in it. When we look at CPEC and its projects from north to south, they all are supporting these kinds of things. From Gwadar to Gilgit, all the local communities are satisfied. All the local communities. I'm not telling about. I'm not claiming that 100% of communities are satisfied. 100% of people are satisfied with these projects and these things. Yet there is there is some sort of a roadmap that has been brought into for the people and to bring some more positive developments. I in the past session I also noticed. I also mentioned that it is a requirement that for the sake of betterment of the local communities, CPEC and the BRI projects need to bring some skill development programs. Otherwise, it is not possible to reap as much benefit as possible. CPEC will bring more than 7,500 jobs. It's already had brought more than 200 more than 2 lakh more than 2 lakh jobs for the people of Pakistan, among 155 around 1,50,000 people were from Pakistan. So I think the skill development is much necessary for this kind of to reap full benefits of this project again. And then when we speak about SEZs and these projects of other projects of Belt and Road and CPEC, we come to the solution. We come to the point that Pakistan should devise a proper strategy to reap as much benefit as possible. The last thing I wanted to mention over here about the storyteller that been just discussed here. The recently in the recent past, when there was a story when ambassador of the United States visited to the Gawada, and it was a very huge in among the people that the Pakistan is losing its interest and the China is losing the trust on Pakistan, and we all know the people who were behind that. And one of our senior journalists also mentioned it into his story, that Pakistan is losing its interest and China but it was actually the thing came from our eastern neighbors. So we should have been very much clear in this. So I definitely know that the people from think tanks would have been in knowledge that there was a thing later on came to us that Pakistan and China should need to devise some specific strategy to counter these narratives. So, this kind of a thing, I do not want to be very brief on it, but I really appreciate and I really do think that Pakistan and China and other people around us, we should all go for this kind of strategies to dismantle these narratives, to dismantle the propaganda against these projects, because these projects are for us. These projects are individually, if we take ownership of this, these projects are individually for all of us, for not for the states. The people would be the bigger beneficiary of this. So everybody who speaks against CPEC and who speaks against the China-Pakistan friendship, it is really a kind of thing that it is still uh, in our bilateral relations. So I think that the Pakistan and China should take CPEC into the bilateral relations and promote it as much as we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Usman Zulfikar Ali, for your much important comments. And you talked about how do we dismantle and counter the narratives coming from our adversaries. So the great way would be to create opportunities and create good examples. Like if we're talking about some of the energy projects we discussed last time, and we know that there are women who are getting jobs in those areas in Thar region, and the story of women drivers driving dumpers and carrying the materials. I mean, this is now our job to project these kind of stories. So yes, we would be doing our narrative building think tanks would be doing it, and we as ambassadors of CPEC would be doing our own thing. But at the same time, if we can create great examples, and that would be the great the narrative that we build around our CPEC thing. So with these comments, now I would invite to this conversation if we have Zamir Asadi Saab, who was with us last week, and I don't know if he's with us now. Musawar, correct me if he's here. Okay, we don't have him.
Sir, if you allow, I would like to make one small comment. I'm sure it will definitely come into our discussion when we are going to have question answer session. That there is very much insecurity among the local populace wherever the CPEC project is going on. There is a general narrative, or you can say there is a general, a perception is created, especially whenever I have visited Gwadar. The people actually, when I have mentioned that in my presentation, when I have mentioned that they are fishermen, so there was a lot more circulation in social media and the print and electronic media that for the Gwadar airport, they have asked for this qualification and the jobs are advertised. But unfortunately, the people were not equipped with the modern skills, or those they do not had those capabilities and the skills which on the basis of which they can apply for the jobs in their own city. So they feel deprived. Not only they feel deprived, but they have started getting insecure, and it is our responsibility to get this their insecurity neutralized, because it is important, and we as Pakistani should understand that every area of our country, every area of our province has different dynamics. There are certain areas where women are restricted to their houses only, while there are certain cities which are very much advanced and they are offering very good women entrepreneurs. So to understand the dynamics of that area, that should also be taken into account whenever we are talking about the CPEC project. And as the Gwadar is much talked about, it's talk of the town, and China is doing a lot of investment because of its maritime routes. It is our duty to align the locals of the Gwadar to those narratives or to the perceptions what China is actually expecting from them. So that's why China is also asking them to learn about how to operate the lifts, how to operate the cargoes and those whenever while the ships are coming to the port. So for the operationalization of the ports, they are training the forklifters and they are training those locals. But certainly, it is also the responsibility of the local to learn and equip themselves with these modern lines. They should not feel insecure. Else, someone else will come to their place, they will take their spot, they will take their seat, and later on they will complain that we were not taken onto board, we were not given enough time. So it's better that they should also realize, not only Gawada, but the rest of, as the sir has mentioned, that how the 30 women are making success stories to the world. So likewise, local populace from any of the CPEC project can make success stories.